But, of course, it's not enough merely to get the foundations of your home life squared up. You also have to decide what you're going to do in the outer world. Now, some of you may be so old-fashioned that you still have jobs. If this is so, try not to get stuck in work where you only deal with things. And I include the highest possible level of things. Sculpture, books, paintings. They are only objects, just like washing machines, but not so useful. It would be difficult for me to translate the dilemma that lies before the visual artist into American terms, because I've only been here a little while. But in England, if I could show you a huge, great piece of concrete with a hole in it, everybody would say, it's a Henry Moore. But if I could show you Henry Moore himself, nobody would know who he was. So all that chipping, all that chiseling, it's been in vain. You must have a job where you deal with people, because then every waking, working hour you will be secretly polishing up your techniques of self-projection. There are plenty of such jobs available. There's preaching. All the great evangelists of the world have been Americans, so this shouldn't be difficult for you. Before any of you were born, I saw Amy Semple Macpherson, magnificent, dressed in white from head to foot, with red, nay, scarlet hair. And she said, "The Lord has sent out his angels on speed bikes of mercy." You could try something like that. Well, if you don't want to be a preacher, you could be a teacher. Teaching is also very stylish, because the material in which you're working is nearly always children and teenagers, and they have built-in publicity value. It doesn't matter whether you encourage them or repress them, you're in. And the great teaching stylist was a man called Mr. Braithwaite. He wrote a book called To Sir with Love. It caused a great sensation when it was first published. But in that book there is not one sentence about education, about whether history is easier to teach than geography. It is full of what the children, their parents, and the other members of the staff thought about the writer. So now we know that whatever anyone says they're teaching, their subject is always themselves. Teaching is for teachers, not for students. And if you'd known that when you were at school, all your sufferings would have been at least explicable. But if you can't be a teacher, if there's nothing that you know and they don't, then you can try politics. And the great political stylist was Mrs. Perron. Not the one you got now, the one before that. I don't know if any of you realize in what a personal and at the same time pervasive way she ruled her kingdom. In England, spelling primers begin with the words, "The cat sat on the mat." No wonder literacy is at a low ebb, when the first glimpse of it is this banal and even distasteful piece of information. But in Argentina, spelling books began, I love Evita. And the crowning moment of her entire career was when she stood up in her box in the Opera House in Buenos Aires to make a speech. She lifted her hands to the crowd, and as she did so, with a sound like railway tracks in a siding, the diamond bracelet slid from her wrist. When the expensive clatter had died away, her speech began, "We the shirtless." Now, I see that you don't really believe in Mrs. Perón, but the Argentinians did, so much so that when she died, they petitioned the Pope to make her a saint. His Holiness declined. But if he'd consented, what a triumph for style that would have been. A double fox stole, ankle-strap shoes, and eternal life. Nobody's ever had that. But if you feel that all this preaching and teaching, that they're insufficient to embody your idea of yourself, the career which will give you the most direct route to self-fulfillment is the stage. And you must also remember, when you think about the stage, that the journey made by an actress from anonymity to stardom is the path that all of you must tread in one context or another. In the beginning of her career, an actress plays a great number of very different parts. Anything she can get, actually. And at that stage, she says that what she enjoys is the variety. Later on, it's noticeable that she plays fewer, more closely related parts. Now, this is like attacking your identity Red Indian fashion. The circles of experimentation get smaller and smaller until you arrive at the center. In the second half of her career, an actress says that what she likes is the opportunity to study character in depth. She means her own. Because finally, with luck, she finds the one part which fits in every detail, her dream of herself. After many long, dark years, Betty Davis was finally given the part of Regina in The Little Foxes. And this gave her the chance to say, "Very well then, die." And we could see from the glaring eyes and the mouth worn upside down, that's what she'd been waiting to say since 1936. Now, once an actress has found her ideal part, from that moment onward, she never looks forward. She's given up the profession of acting, and she has entered the profession of being. And this, as I see it, is where all of you, in the end, belong. Are you still with me? Do you understand this argument? Good, because there is a very special glow which surrounds people who've succeeded in synthesizing their professional and their personal lives. Joan Crawford appeared in any number of movies in which she rose from rags to riches.